I never really know if it's recording until the time starts ticking. And if this is your first time joining me on BigFoot KnitCast, hi, welcome. I'm glad you're here. It's been a very, very long time since I have podcast or recorded a vlog. That's just sometimes the way it is, right? Life gets in the way. And yeah, we had, so I'm going to make this one kind of short and then plan out the next one for a little bit more time. But this way you can kind of get a feel for, oh, golly, just take her off my playlist. I don't even want to watch her anymore. But yeah, I hope you don't decide that, but you might. And so that's okay too. I am definitely not everyone's gal. Or bag or cup of tea or whatever. So there you go. So I can't even remember the last time that I recorded a vlog. So podcast, my kids correct me, you know, whatever. But life goes on. Life just moves on. And we moved this summer, and then my dad died. And so there was all of that to take care of, and still ongoing. And the office is not put together yet, even though we've now been here, you know, for a while. And as you can see behind me, it's a little crazy. There's just kind of stuff everywhere and in piles. But hopefully, as the podcasts go on, you'll see that progress is being made. So we'll see. And I'm always more nervous in front of a live video than I am when I know that I can at least just fast forward. I don't edit a whole lot, but at least I can fast forward this part, and all you see is me going blah, 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 right? And so you have no idea what I was saying other than, wow, she's fast forwarding again. So that's me. I'm kind of an au naturel gal. So let's see. I'll do an introduction. BigFoot KnitCast was started 2 falls ago, and I think that's right. I have not recorded tons and tons of episodes. I have 8 children, 7 that still live at home. My husband and I have 8 children. They're not, when I say my husband and I, a lot of people assume that we have a blended family, but we don't. The normal line of questioning goes, wow, are those all yours? And the answer is always, yes, they are. Are any of them twins? Or is this your second husband? Or are you a blended family? Are any of them adopted? And the answer is no. I gave birth to each and every one of them. Yes, we did it on purpose. And yes, we know what causes it. Then the next line of questions is usually, do you own a TV? Are you Catholic, Mormon, or whatever else other religion you think of? And then the last question is usually, do you drive a bus? Because how else do you transport that many people, right? So 9 people live in our home. I feed 8 people 3 meals a day. And my husband, you know, being the 9th, comes home for dinner, of course. And it's like a birthday party 3 times a day. That's, if you can kind of wrap your mind around the grocery bill, that's what it is. A birthday party 3 times a day. So, and for some reason, they keep wanting to eat 3 times a day, and they just keep coming back. And frankly, we're kind of afraid that they might eat us if we don't feed them. So we just keep feeding them. No, seriously, they're great, and I love each one of them, and I like them. So I teased that they just kept growing up, and so we just kept having more. Yeah, the little years are hard, but it's never boring, and it's always something new. Something's always going on. So we enjoy our big family. My husband and I did not come from big families. He has 1 sister. I have 1 sister. And so there you go. It wasn't a decision that we made like at the very beginning. That's just, you get what you get and you don't throw a fit. And that's kind of where we are. So yes, we do drive a very big, technically is a bus. It's a 12-passenger Nissan van, and it's big and brown. And so at the grocery store one time, I had a lady, people are always just amazed whenever they see our family out in public. If we're at a restaurant or the grocery store or wherever it is that we happen to be, the library, And we always get stopped and asked questions. And I'm totally used to it. I don't mind. It doesn't bother me. Some people have been snarky. Some people have been rude. Most of the time, though, people are genuinely curious. And I love, absolutely love the older couples or the older gentleman or lady that come up to me and say, I was one of 12. And they say, you have a lovely family. And I have never been told, wow, you really screwed the pooch. You should have, stopped at 2 or stopped at 3. None of those older ladies and gentlemen ever come up and tell me that. They'll tell me, I always wanted a big family. I was only able to have 3. I was only able to have 5. So I don't think that I will say this, it's hard, and I've been chronically sleep deprived for 22 years, but it's great, and I wouldn't trade them for anything. So I started my Etsy shop right after I started the BigFoot KnitCast. And I was telling you, the reason why it's called BigFoot is I had one lady who really was snarky at the grocery store one time come up to us, and she went through the whole line of normal questions. And then she looked at me, and she's got her glasses, and she says to me like this, do you realize how big your carbon footprint is? I just died. I think I laughed at her. I mean, I really did. So I went home and I told my husband, we are naming this big brown van BigFoot because, when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. And so whenever I started the vlog, the podcast, whatever it's called, I'm technologically challenged and I'm 45. So, right, you guys can all make fun of me if I'm saying it wrong. That's what it fit. And then I started the dye shop, and that's what it was. I wanted something that fit our family culture. We're from Oklahoma, and our state bird is scissortail, but that's so generic. Scissortail dye yarn company, whatever. So I just kind of searched for something that fit us, and that really fits our family dynamic. We are quirky, and we're kind of weird, and we don't mind it. And we quote movies at each other all the time. When you have a weird scenario that comes up, my 3 big girls and I all love Jane Austen. And the oldest one is grown and gone and married, and she's in the Air Force. So she didn't get a chance to watch this one with us. But my 18 and 16-year-old, one of our favorite movies is Austenland. And so we quote things like that all the time to each other. Will we? Sometimes I put my face in the fire. So we think we're funny. We're probably just really nerdy, and that's okay. So I don't think any of us are self-conscious about it at all. We just are who we are, and that's what you get. So there you go. That is BigFoot, BigFoot Fibers, BigFoot KnitCast. That's us in a nutshell. So I am, mostly it's a one-woman show. That would be me. I do get help from my 18 and 16-year-old. They have gone to shows with me. They have set up, tear down. My 16-year-old has done graphics. She helps with inventory. She updates the shop, printing, shipping labels, and helping to get orders out, and you name it, they have helped. But basically, other than that, it's just me. My husband does help some too, but he has had 2 new jobs this year since April, and that's required a lot of hours from him. So he's not working 2 jobs at the same time. He had 1 new job, and then not very long after that, got an offer he couldn't refuse, and so there you go. You do what you do, and it's been great. This year has been really, really busy for BigFoot Fibers. We're not quite done with the year. It's almost November, but my sales tripled this year from last year, and I thought last year was really good. So I think we're gonna be a little bit over that number, and you just get to that place where you need to grow and be able to accommodate a little more, to dye a little more for people as those orders get bigger, get busier and busier, and you have more wholesale accounts. But then in order to grow, in order to dye more, I need to hire someone who could do some of the other things for me that keep me from dying, like the business end of it. That's, not so fun. I mean, it's okay, but it's not, I'm in it for the dying. I'll just tell you that. But you can't really hire someone, because in order to hire someone, you really need to grow and you need a little more income. But in order to get more income, you need to grow and hire someone. And so the conundrum that is small business, and by small business, I mean, I'm not even a micro business. We are solopreneurs. Most dyers, most indie dyers are just solopreneurs. We might have some help from some family or husbands or partners or children, sometimes extended family. Hey, this Christmas, guess what everybody's doing? We are lining up and you're all labeling yarn. That has been known to happen. But we just really are micropreneurs, and every single $10 is a big deal. So anyway, I didn't mean to digress on that. But so that's me. That's me. We just roll big, and yeah. So I'm going to give you a little bit of news. My next event is East Texas Fiber Festival, and that is November 9th and 10th. I think that's right. I'm going to check my phone real fast. 9th and 10th, yes. And I'll have some really cool, I always have a cool giveaway. Probably it's Likey Needles, so you gotta love that. So if you're going to be around the East Texas area, which really is like from Louisiana to Dallas, and anywhere in between and up and down, feel free to stop by. It's free to come in and shop. And I'm not the only dyer. There's going to be a bunch of us. Yarn Carnival, who else? Oh, of course, it always just leaves my head right then. I'll try and put that in the show notes. And if you've been watching my podcast for a while, you know that I'm horrible at show notes. I honestly, this part is the most personable to me, because I'm just here and blabbing, and I don't have much of a filter. The newsletter is, of course, the way to find out about all of the coupons that you might, or sales that I offer only to newsletter subscribers. And I'm most active on Instagram and Facebook, so that you can always find out what's going on. So I really kind of feel like I'm just sharing my heart when I'm on the podcast. But yeah, there you go. This is us. This is us. These are the jokes, kid. Okay, so after I was going to tell you about East Texas Fiber Festival, then I'm going to tell you about the 12 Minis of Christmas giveaway. And I don't have anything to show you because, of course, I left that yarn in the other room, and I'm not going to stop to get up and get it. I will have 5 interruptions between now and then, and I'll never get back to it. Last year was the first year, and I'm doing it again this year, and I anticipate doing it again next year. There is a giveaway that I do on Instagram called the 12 Minis of Christmas. So the mini set is, I'm just going to show you this one real fast. So I grouped them like this. There's 5. This is not the set. I just wanted to show you in case you weren't familiar with what mini sets were. It's 5 20-gram minis, and it's a vintage Christmas themed colorway, and that will be for sale in the shop soon. But I have a few other things that I want to get out that are fall. So I have 2 things that are already dyed that are in the shop that are still available. And then I have 1 thing that I've got to dye today because it's just in there and I've got to get it out. I don't know if any of you are artists, but sometimes you just have a thing that needs to come out, and it's going to be cool. It is a black, and it's going to be, I haven't decided which base it's going to be on yet. It might be on silk, BFL and silk, because I love BFL and silk. It's the bomb. And the shine and the scrunch factor that you get from the BFL, because BFL is the bomb. It's not quite as soft as merino, but it is almost as soft, and it is stronger. It has a longer staple, so you don't get the pilling that you get traditionally with merino. And it's so strong, you don't need nylon in BFL socks, okay? So it's the unsung hero of the wool world, the woolly world, in my opinion. And everybody's got a couple of opinions, right? And they all stink. But I'm going to say BFL is the bomb. So when you add silk to BFL, then you get that softness. You also get a little more strength. It takes away from the elasticity a little bit, but it's already more elastic than merino. So it's win-win-win in my opinion. But you get that shine. When you add silk to it, man, you get a shine. So I've already named the colorway. It's called Quoth the Raven. And it's going to be a black, and that's all I'm going to tell you. There'll be some other things in there, and it's a surprise. But for some reason, I'm on this really strong Halloween fall-themed kick, and I don't know why. It's only 4 days away, and it's kind of late to be throwing one out there, but I think that it will be one that will be appropriate for all year long and not just Halloween. So since we're a kind of a geeky family, we homeschool and we love literature. We've homeschooled for, gosh, I think 18 years now. I mean, it's a long time. My oldest is 22. She went to a public school kindergarten for the first half of the year, and the teacher said, I don't know what else we're going to do with her. She's read all the books that I have for the advanced readers, and everyone else is, I'm still trying to get them to line up and not eat the glue. So she basically told me, why don't you homeschool her? And we were moving basically at about that time, and it just worked out well, and we've never looked back. So all that to say that we love books. That I have always loved books, and I wanted my children to love books, to love literature, and to love reading, and so that's something I've tried to instill in them. So we have read this year together as a family. We read Romeo and Juliet because I love Shakespeare. And then the next one that we read was Macbeth. And the funny thing about Macbeth is that's the play that my husband and I met. Okay, so we both went to OBU, and we met in the theater department during the production of Macbeth. So it kind of has a special place in my heart. And as the fall was coming on, and I didn't want to do anything too spooky or crazy with the kids, but I did want to do something, so I kept coming back to that the three witches, the three strange women that are around the cauldron, and there's, I'm going to misquote it, but boil, boil, toil and trouble, cauldron burn and, no, that's wrong, fire burn and cauldron bubble, and then later on, as Macbeth is coming, they say, by the pricking of my thumbs, something wicked this way comes. And so that has been a colorway this year. And that's what I showed you a minute ago. This is something wicked this way comes. And it was just inspired by, like I said, the reading of Macbeth. And you should have seen, all my boys are 13 and under. So they are let's see if I can do this, 3, 7, 9, and 13. And then I've got an 11-year-old daughter in there too. And they were just totally grossed out by the spell of all the things that the three witches put in this cauldron. They're like, ew. So anyway, they maybe didn't get as big of a kick out of it as I do, but there you go. These are the colorways. And the thing that's special about this mini skein set is, besides the fact that it's 100% merino, it is superwash, and so you've got that really squishy. And of course, it was inspired by Macbeth, but it's DK. It's DK weight. So these are DK weight minis, and you could totally see you could make some lovely mittens, or even some colorwork house socks, or let's see if I can show that to you without. There we go. So there's the speckle skein. Or a cowl or gloves or anything else that, would maybe call for DK weight. And so they will knit up really quickly and be something fun for, they're not too totally Halloween. Let's see. Then the other thing, like I said, we're kind of nerds. And whether you loved the, what was the name of that series? The books were... oh my goodness, now I'm going to have to edit this part out because I'm going to be sitting here going the whole time. The glittery vampires. What were they? Edward, the glittery vampire. We made fun of that series a lot. My teenage girls and I, we got a big kick out of that. But so anyway, I bid you glampire. And so this mini skein set is called Glampire. And, you know, it's kind of dark and moody and glittery. So I crack myself up. I think I'm funny when I'm really probably just a nerd. But that's okay. The Twilight series. Okay. So my oldest, that was her thing, was writing, and she actually wrote a 12-chapter novel in high school, and it had a beginning, a middle, and an end, and no, it was never published, but you know, a lot of people say they want to write a novel and they don't, and she did. So it's not necessarily a good novel, but it is a complete novel. It has all of the parts, and it has 12 chapters. So anyway, she and a couple of her friends in their little writing group, they would say, be careful, if you fall asleep while you're typing, or if your head hits the keyboard, you might accidentally write the sequel to Twilight. So anyway, they thought they were really smart, and I just think it's funny. So there you go. There's those two together. Fingering Weight, Glampire on the Sparkle, and then DK Weight, Something Wicked, This Way Comes. Now, I think I've almost started telling you about the 12 Minis of Christmas. So that's a giveaway, and I'm going to give away 2 mini skein sets of the 12 Minis of Christmas. It's a vintage Christmas theme, and so the colorway is called Vintage Christmas. It will be on this sparkle base this year. And so the point in that is that follow me on Instagram, and starting this week, I will give 2 skeins away for the next 6 weeks. So there's 12 mini skeins of Christmas giveaway. Make sure that you actually follow me on Instagram. There's nothing more sad to me than to pull up the winner and they're not a follower, and that's always the thing that I say at the first, always make sure you're a follower, because that's so sad to have to pick someone else. So here we go. Then you can enter to win as many times as you would like on that post until I close comments when that one is over, and then the next week I'll do it again. But just make sure that you enter, you tag a friend for an entry, and make sure that each friend you tag is on a separate comment. The only thing that I ask is that you don't tag any other dyers, because honestly, guys, that's really annoying to dyers to get tagged in another dyer's giveaway. And I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be that dyer where they're like, oh, I cannot believe that they're having another giveaway and here I'm getting tagged in their stuff all the time. And you'll probably get blocked because they just get tired of it. That's what the rumor mill says anyway. I don't know. So that's going on starting this week. And then what else was I going to talk to you about? Oh, I'm always the person that does not plan out life as well as I should, and I never get the things that I really wanted that are those really limited edition, like an advent calendar. So, because those things go on sale at Easter or 4th of July, Memorial Day, and then they're sold out and they're done. The two knitty, adventy things that I mean, knitting is my favorite. Christmas is my favorite. What's better can you do to combine those things? Those are they're just so fun. So I'm spitting everywhere. I apologize. Not going to edit that out. There you go. It's just me. So Helen Stewart of Curious Handmade does Knit Vent, which is really fun. And she does use a 25 mini 20-gram skeins advent calendar for that, but her first pattern drops November 1st, and I don't have time to get anything out for that, but unless you just really were dying for one and had to anyway. But so her Knit Vent, and then also Amba O'Brien's Adventurer Wrap, that one, those two to me are the funnest. They're just so fun. They combine my 2 favorite things, knitting and Christmas. And I was just kind of browsing around on Ravelry, and I was looking at Amba O'Brien. I was looking at her site, her page, her group, and I noticed that she had posted there were just a few dyers left with advent calendars, and I went to click around because I didn't plan on doing one, and all of those were sold out too. I thought, dang it! So I just decided at the last minute to throw one together. I'm only going to leave the pre-order up for about 2 weeks, a week and a half, and then those will get done and shipped out the week of, I think the week of November 19th, so that you can have those and cast on December 1st with Amba's Adventurer Wrap. You can always use stash, you can always use, you can mix and match or whatever. I'm not doing this as, hey, yet another Advent, but just as there might be a few people who really wanted one and they didn't get one. My husband and I are always joking that we are those people who are coming in, on the side, the car is like leaning on those last 2 tires, or on the rails, kind of screeching in. That's us. And I'm always a day late and $1 short. I never plan out the things that I wanted to get that well in advance. And the point being that there may be some of you who really wanted an Advent calendar, and this is your chance. Excuse me. Then again, you may not need one. That's okay. Not talking to you then, right? So what else was I going to talk about? Let's see here. I've got my list here of things that I wanted to make sure and not forget. I told you this was going to be a short one, and here we're already at 26 minutes. So I'll be at East Texas, November 9th. I am dying for Knit Stars. So if you are a student, if you buy Knit Stars 3.0, North Stars Rising, then if you don't know what Knit Stars is, go to knitstars.com. The enrollment is only open for the next few days. They've already done one enrollment wave, and there are some special yarns from dyers. Some dyers are paired with the designers and some aren't. They're just basically extra special extras. They're just extras. Knit Stars is put on by Loops, my local yarn store. Shelly, she is a knitting genius, and it's basically, she started it for the people who, aren't going to a big convention. They're not going to a Stitches. They're not going to a Dallas Fort Worth Fiber Festival. They're not going to Rhinebeck. They're not going to India Entangled, but yet they want to get some good teaching. They want to get, they want to get in on some of these things. And so it's all online. All of the teachers this year are Northern Hemisphere, and even more north, like Arnie and Carlos, and oh goodness gracious, Carson Dimmers, Ergo I Knit on Instagram. He's in Canada. And Bud, she's in Colorado. I can't even remember everybody's names. But so anyway, it's a fun thing. And for $200, you get in on these classes, and you own them, and you get to watch them at your leisure. And so it's fun. And then also there's a Facebook group for Knit Stars. And honestly, it has been one of the game changers for me as a knitter, because I can't usually take the time in that big of a chunk to go to a convention. And then now that I'm dying, I'm working booths. I'm not going for classes. So I'm able to go and sit at the feet of Stephen West and Andrew Mowry and, like I said, Ann Budd. This time, these are some of the other ones that were from the first 2 years, and be able to just soak them up on my time. I started this right after the very first Knit Stars. I thought I've got to keep this going. I love this knitting community so much that I want to be more of a part of it. And so that's what it's led me down. I will say that artistically, the dyeing for me is such a freeing thing, because I'm not a good artist. I have no false modesty here. I cannot draw. I cannot paint. I can't play the piano. I can play the violin, but I broke my finger in high school, like off. I broke it right there. Yeah, I broke it off and had to have it sewn back to the bone and together. And I've not been able to play the violin since then, because this finger has no strength. And there's a live nerve right there. Of course, you always hope your nerves are alive, right? But it sits right on this spot that I cannot play. So, yeah, that's taken away. So Artistically, I was looking, I guess you could say I was looking for an outlet, and I found it in dyeing, and it is absolutely some of the best, most freeing, expressive time I've had in my life. I'm a slow knitter, and I'm not a great knitter, but I can dye up, 25, 50 skeins fairly quickly, and I have beautiful things to look at that, yes, of course, I have to sell and they go live in other homes, but that's okay because I created something, and it's, in my eye, it's beautiful. That's also the wonderful thing about knitting and dyeing and buying yarn and indie dyers, is there are so many of us that there's always going to be somebody that what they're doing is what you love. So if you're just finding me and you're like, I really don't love your colors, I promise you there's somebody else out there that you will love. There's just so many expressions. Maybe there's only so many colors in a rainbow, but there are so many ways to do it. So there you go. There's my passion. Kind of losing my voice. We've all had a cold. I had my grandbaby for an entire week, not this last week, but the week before. And then we went down to Abilene for his first birthday, and we got to celebrate that. But we all came back with colds. So in a big family, it takes a while to get around, and I thought I was going to miss it. I thought I had dodged the bullet. So that was one of the reasons I wanted to go ahead and record the podcast, because I have a feeling by tomorrow it'll be completely gone. And wah, wah, wah. The kids will love it because they won't have anybody to point and boss. I'll just be able to get ground. Anyway, so don't miss out on the 12 Minis of Christmas. And I'm on Facebook. It's BigFoot Space Fibers. If you look for us on Facebook. On Instagram, I'm at BigFoot Fibers, which is all one word squished in there. You can always email me at bigfootfibers.com. No, that was wrong. I'm sorry. You can find the shop there, bigfootfibers.com. But you can email me at bigfootfibers@gmail.com. I think that's all of the important things. I've missed you. I'm sorry it's been 15 years since I recorded a vlog last. And I would love to tell you that I'm going to be more consistent, but I can't guarantee that. As the dye shop gets busier and busier, it's been harder and harder for me to keep up with this part. And obviously moving and my dad dying and some of those other things just make it kind of hard. But know that it's my heart's desire to get on here more often than I have been and just kind of chit-chat with you. And my goal is that you feel like we're just sitting down having a cup of coffee and you're listening to your very long-winded friend. So I will say that in the last 2 years that I have met some of the neatest people, customers that have either said, hey, I'm in town, or hey, while you're in Dallas, do you want to meet up for coffee, or those kinds of things. And I will just say I treasure those friendships because you guys are just amazing. So yeah, there you go. Okay, well, hopefully you'll come back and see if I have another video, and if not, then there you go. I know I'm a nerd, and I'm not everybody's bag, so there you go. I'm going to stop rambling now, and I'm going to hit stop. I'll see you guys next time.